aren't just random accessories, they were banned. And what Jungkook wore is a huge taboo in South Korea. See, it all began in 2019 when Jungkook was still an active member in BTS. And even though he was still performing as part of the boy group, Jungkook wasn't trying to blend in with the rest, he was trying to stand out. And well, he could have just been normal and not get any tattoos, but instead, dude decided, let's get some ink. See, in South Korea, they've got this whole cultural thing where tattoos are seen as kinda shady, like something only gangsters or criminals would get. Crazy, right? But Jungkook said, F it, let's break these cultural norms. He went ahead and got a tattoo on his entire arm, and Jungkook went viral for this. It made him famous on social media, and if you don't believe me, just take a look at his Instagram. And you know what's even crazier than that? For his solo debut, he decided to go all out and get a bunch of tattoos. He even had them on his knuckles. Thing is, even though he spent a bunch of cash to get tatted out, he was forced to wear long sleeves when performing on stage. His agency even went through the trouble to edit out the ink in photos, and even slapped on some hand patches. Can you believe the lengths they'll go just to hide some body art? And if he slips up and flashes a tat on a broadcast, dude, it's game over. The public outcry would be insane. But at least Jungkook's decision to get tatted up was self-inflicted. Back in 2016, what Tzuyu wore and the scandal she found herself in was not even her fault. See, imagine you're a 16-year-old girl in a foreign country, chasing your dreams to become the next big thing. Life is amazing, right? Wrong. All it took was one outfit mishap, and bam, the internet explodes. The thing is, Tzuyu didn't even choose the shirt. It had this crazy offensive message on it. Something like, "Hoes, take your clothes off." Yikes. And here's the kicker. She was covering a legendary song by a legendary girl group, Girls' Generation. Talk about bad timing. JYP Entertainment totally dropped the ball on this one. Like, how did they not catch that message before letting Tzuyu go live? It's their job to approve these outfits, but somehow they slipped through the cracks. Heck, they should have probably hired me for this role. I could do a better job. The backlash was intense, bro. Netizens were going off, calling out JYP left and right. The company had to scramble to apologize and promise to do better in the future, but the damage was already done. And you wanna know what's even crazier? Tsuyu's not the only one who faced this kind of controversy. Other idols found themselves in hot water over their clothes too, but that's a story for another time. For now, let's just say that when it comes to fashion and K-pop, the stakes are high and the consequences can be brutal. But at least what Tzuyu wore only affected a small number of people, cause what Jimin wore enraged an entire country. See, back in 2018, Jimin was on his way to some event. Usually, Korean idols would wear something fashionable as they're always followed by paparazzi. This time, however, Jimin wore a shirt that had something extremely offensive. The shirt in question had a picture that looked a whole lot like the atomic bomb mushroom cloud over Nagasaki. Yeah, you heard that right. As you can imagine, this did not go over well, especially in Japan. The historical wounds from the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki are still pretty raw, so people were understandably upset. To make matters worse, this whole thing blew up right when tensions between Japan and South Korea were already high. There was some drama about a court case involving forced Korean labor during Japan's colonial rule, and let's just say things were not exactly friendly between the two countries. And as a result, BTS ended up getting their appearance on a Japanese TV show canceled. Coincidence? I think not. Some folks even started accusing Jimin of trivializing the suffering faced by the Japanese people caused by the atomic bombs. Talk about a wardrobe malfunction with serious consequences. And here's the thing, the shirt's designer claimed it aimed to highlight the historical truths and Korea's liberation from the Japanese. So yeah, we have no idea whether Jimin wore that shirt on purpose. Let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. Now, most K-pop idols are pretty conservative while in Korea, but when they go overseas, things start to go a little haywire. Yeah, we're talking about Lisa. This girl's fashion choices took things to a whole new level of scandalous. So, Lisa's fashion choices, they definitely pushed some major boundaries. I'm talking about her performance at Crazy Horse Paris. This girl straight up went there, rocking some seriously revealing outfits on stage, and let me tell you, the backlash was intense. Picture this. You're a K-pop idol, known for your sick dance moves and killer style, but then you decide to collab with a famous cabaret known for its risque shows. I'm not gonna lie, that's a bold move. And Lisa, she went all in. But here's the thing, not everyone was feeling it. Some netizens, especially in China, were straight up offended. They thought Lisa's outfits were way too provocative for a K-pop idol. I mean, these idols have a huge influence on their young fans, right? So seeing Lisa up there barely covered, it didn't sit well with the more conservative crowd. The fallout was pretty intense. Lisa got straight up cancelled in China. Her Weibo account, which had millions of followers, banned. Her music, albums, merch, axed from distribution. Even the luxury brands she repped started distancing themselves. It was a whole mess. But here's the crazy part. While Lisa's career took a major hit in China, her international promotions kept right on rolling. It's like in some parts of the world, pushing those boundaries is no big deal. But in others, it can totally tank your career. As bad as Lisa's outfit was, we can't forget about CL's fashion disaster. Back in 2013, CL was rocking the Native American headdress at the Mnet Asian Music Awards. Yeah, that didn't go over well. Turns out, those headdresses are like super sacred to many Native American tribes. So when CL strutted out on stage with one on, people were pissed. Netizens started throwing around the term cultural appropriation left and right. In case you're not familiar, that's when someone steals elements from another culture without really understanding or respecting their significance. And in this case, seeing CL wearing that headdress as a fashion statement felt mad disrespectful to a lot of folks. I mean, for Native American tribes, these headdresses are a major symbol of honor and respect. They're not just some trendy accessory to throw on for a performance, you know? So when CL sported one, it came across as totally tone deaf. Of course, after the backlash hit, CL and her crew had to do some serious damage control. They put out an apology, acknowledging that they messed up big time, and promised to do better in the future. Now this might be the worst offense yet. For Jake, he wore something super offensive. I mean, if there's one thing you don't mess with, it's other people's religious beliefs. Back in 2022, when ENHYPEN were performing their song Blessed Curse, everything was going great until eagle-eyed fans spotted something a little off about Jake's accessory game. Turns out, our boy Jake was rocking a necklace with the word Allah written in Arabic. Now, for those who don't know, Allah is the name for God in Islam. And let me tell you, Muslim fans were not happy about seeing that name used as a fashion statement. Here's the thing. In Islam, using Allah's name on jewelry or any other accessory is a big no-no. It is seen as mad disrespectful to the religion. So when Jake stepped out on stage with that necklace, it hit a nerve with a lot of folks. Fans started blowing up B-Lift Labs mentions, demanding an apology for the culturally insensitive move. They called out the stylists for not doing their research and disrespecting Islamic beliefs. I mean, can you imagine how you would feel if someone used a symbol that was sacred to you as a trendy accessory? It got so bad that one fan even reached out to the brand that made the necklace. And guess what? The brand ended up apologizing and yanked the product from their site. That's how serious this stuff is. At the end of the day, it just goes to show that you gotta be real careful when it comes to religious symbols and fashion. What might seem like a cool, edgy accessory to some can be straight up offensive to others. It's all about understanding and respecting different cultural beliefs, you know? So next time you're thinking about rocking a religious symbol as a fashion statement, maybe think twice. Because the last thing you want is to end up in hot water like Jake did. Trust me, it's not a good look for anyone. And it's not just Jake that found himself in hot water over this kind of thing. Remember Lisa? Yeah, homegirl is being featured twice in this video. She was spotted wearing a crucifix necklace. And for a lot of Christians, the crucifix is a deeply meaningful religious symbol. So seeing Lisa rock it as a fashion statement didn't sit right with them either. But hey, at least these idols learned their lesson. I'm telling you man, being a K-pop idol ain't easy. But here's what's easy, spending a whole lot of cash. Check out this video. This is how Lisa spends her millions. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.